Hey everybody, welcome to our show. This is another episode of Let's Live Stream. This week is actually a little bit different than every other week, mainly because we're going to be talking about something that actually doesn't exist anymore. So this is really, this is like crazy out there. But guys, I want to welcome you and thank you guys for being here today. We're talking about where are they now, but the topic is Blab, but it's not really Blab. We're celebrating, I think I can say this, right? We're celebrating a year of Blab being shut down. But instead of bemoaning the group or and the platform and all the ups and downs and all this stuff, I wanted to actually flip that whole thing on its head, and I wanted to celebrate the people and the connections that we've made. And because of that, we have a couple video surprises, possibly a guest today. I don't know, but what we do have going on is a Twitter chat and a live stream. And so let's get right into what are the rules for the live stream. We actually have only 4 rules for the live stream, okay? And if we are so inclined, I'm going to ask you guys both to watch and to share this broadcast. You can do that right now. But remember, the first rule of a Twitter chat is you have to use the hashtag. Please use the hashtag Let's Live Stream in every tweet that you do from now on until the end of time. No. Just the hashtag, just for this live stream, just for this Twitter chat. That would be great. And when you guys answer a question, because we do have 8 questions today, use the letter A for answer, and then the number 1, 2, 3, whatever it is for the question that you're answering, so that we can all follow along. I love being able to see what you guys are writing and things like that. And I do have some kind of a mechanism to do that today. Number 3 is, since we are tweeting and live stream, make sure you guys are watching us, whether it's on the VitMug page on Facebook, or if it's on Periscope, you can follow us on the Let's Live Stream Periscope channel, which it's pretty, it's getting some, getting some viewers on it. And I really appreciate you guys continuing week after week to share it out. And the last thing, rule number 4, and I do have a secret rule number 5, but rule number 4 is learn, have fun, and definitely share it out. And guys, I really do appreciate everything you guys are doing as being a part of this, because as we do this, we are getting ready. And make sure that you guys are out there tweeting this out, sharing this out. And I'm trying to get the Periscope up on my end, but that's me. That's a me thing. So I might actually just have to do that. And there we go. Now I've got it up. So, all right. Who's ready for question 1? Who's ready for question 1? It's great to see you guys. Let's see here. What is question 1? I'll actually let you guys, I'll let Jen bring that up. Today's a little bit different, but because we're going to be doing some questions, and we're going to intersperse, boy, I like that word, some faces that we may or may not recognize, but they're people that I know and that I connected with on Blab. And so the first question is, and please, this really is for you guys in the chat. This is for you guys that are watching the live stream. Guys, what are you doing now? Where are you? And I don't mean just well, I'm in my kitchen, or I'm in my office, or I'm at the park. I mean, guys, what are you guys doing now? Like, what is the thing that you're doing? Have you grown your business? Have you moved across town, down, wherever? I would love to be able to connect with and see what you guys are up to, because for some of us, it actually has been a year since we've really been able to really reconnect. And I say that because not everybody's actually watching this live. They're actually going to be catching it on the replay. So having said that, I am going to do my very best to hop over here, and I want to make sure that I'm catching the what the Twitter chat is. So I am kind of seeing you guys. Hey, Terry, it's great to see you in Periscope. Thank you, Terry. Yes, and this is the Blab show, which you can't see because I've got the mic on. How many of you guys actually remember this? I remember I actually didn't wear it for the longest time. I actually started wearing it after Blab closed down. I don't know why, but I thought that was kind of fun. How many of you guys actually ever received a Blab shirt? I'd love to know that. Some people are actually still really bitter about that, and that is kind of funny to me, at least. I don't know. But guys, where are you? What are you guys doing? So if Jen, if we could queue up, I don't know, are we able to queue up one of the videos? I'll just let you pick which video you want to do, because I'm just going to check them off. You don't even have to play it. Just kind of bring it up, And then if you guys don't already, I think everybody in the videos introduced themselves, I think. So, all right. So I just heard from the word on high is that as soon as it goes, it just goes. So I'm just going to let her press play. And this is our first video guest.
Hey, Jonathan, thanks for reaching out. Mitch Jackson. And yes, live streaming has changed everything. It's been awesome. Going all the way back to 2011 with the Spreecast platform, well before Blab. We were on shows with Katie Couric and Anderson Cooper, Peter Diamandis, Wall Street Journal, LA Times. It's been a fun ride. When you fast forward to today, I think because of this mobile live streaming platforms, the different platforms that we're using, it's allowed us to make new relationships and connect unlike ever before. You know, I was around before the internet. I remember having to travel and go to business events to meet 10 people, and now we can tap and swipe, and using live video, live streaming, we can connect with people from around the world, from our office, from the beach while flying my drone, from the courthouse while I'm waiting for my case to be called. So this is just so exciting, and I'm excited to see what you and everyone else are doing. You know, today we have the weekly live video show, the show.live, where we enjoy sharing people from around the world that are disrupting industries and creating change. We're using live video to interact with clients. We're using live video in my legal mastermind at legalminds.lawyer, and it's allowed us to look people in the digital eyeballs, develop meaningful relationships, and really help more people using the live video platforms than ever before. So I'm honored to be a part of what you guys are doing today. Keep up the great work, everyone, and make each day your masterpiece.
So, how many of you guys remember Mitch from back in the day, right? Back in the day when he was on Blab. How many of you guys actually remember watching his show? He did a show, I think it was actually called The Show. But it was, you know, he's doing the live stream lawyer. We see him around in a number of different places. I actually really, I love being able to catch his show. He's, after the end of after the end of Blab, he was broadcasting on Huzzah and a few other places. But I mean, he's really got some amazing guests on there. Some pretty hard to get kind of people. I don't know, like that was really impressive was Gary Vaynerchuk, and I mean impressive in terms of you actually got time with him online. Like it's almost unheard of, right? Well, Mitch did it. He was co-hosted the show live, and I think the show is actually still going, but with Jen Horvath, I'm sorry, Haverstead, and they had a long running show, and I reached out to him and I asked him um, if he would broadcast today and just be able to share this out. So I was really super happy he was able to do that. And so guys, as you guys are, if you still know, and oh, thank you. So he still does the show. Ross Brand says just on a brief summer break. Sometimes I wish I was on a summer break, Ross. Sometimes. But so thank you guys for answering that question. Let's see here. Question number 2 actually is going to be coming up very, very shortly. There he is. I see him. He's in the Facebook chat. There's Mitch. Great to have you, man. Thank you. We have question number 2 coming up. We can actually just launch that question if you're ready, Jen. Okay, so question number 2, where are you broadcasting now? And this was a big question. This was the big problem that I think a lot of people were having, is that Blab was gone. Now what? I mean, so we had there was a number of platforms out there. Some people went back to Google Hangouts. Some people they went to Fire Talk. I went to Fire Talk for a little bit. I was on Huzzah. Mitch Jackson was on Huzzah for a while. And then once they actually got bought up. I think it was by Kickstarter. And that was a really cool thing. That to me was like one of those. I love to see those guys' success, that they built a platform, we used it, and they were able to send it to its next evolution. And I just thought that was really awesome. What was some of the other ones that you guys used? Obviously, people went back to Periscope. They were using Facebook, and at that time, it was just Facebook, it was just the one person, except for that one time where they had that stupid little one little tiny picture, postage stamp picture in the live that everybody hated. But they were trying that. What were some of the other ones that people were using? Fire Talk. Jen, what were some of the other ones that they were using? By the way,
Am I here to save you? Well, you mentioned Fire Talk and Huzzah, and there was another one. Smile Time came around just towards the tail end of when things were shifting with Fire Talk, and Huzzah was kind of, the community was changing there. But I think Crowdcast. Remember, Crowdcast came around right when Blab kind of ended very suddenly, and everybody was deciding. I feel like the end of Blab was really that turning point for so many people.
Right.
Is, do you want to pursue live streaming, in a different capacity? Because there was to this date, or there is to this date, not a unique island like Blab was. And you really had to make that decision. Do you want to invest time and money and go forward with live streaming, or did you want to find other means? And both paths have worked for a lot of people.
Yeah, you were absolutely right. I'm so glad you brought up Smile Time and Crowdcast, because I think those were in existence, or they had just been like kind of as in the thought process. But that was a really big thing. Because you have your show, Jen, Wine Antics, by the way, isn't that airing
this Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern? Yes, it is.
There it is. Got it in. That's actually one of my checklists, by the way, for today.
Ahead. You're good.
Right? You like that? No, because that was actually one of the places that you and I connected was on your show. I saw it. I was like, oh, this is kind of a cool show, a little different. Had, it was you and Cork Envy. By the way, that's his Twitter name. Yeah. I love that. That's probably one of the best names out there. Cork Envy. And yours was Wine Antics, and it really caught my attention. I was like, oh, that was kind of cool. And that's where we connected.
It's where I stalked you for a solid 2 months.
Right. And then I was like asking around. I was like, hey, who's
this? Who the heck is that crazy woman that talks about wine a couple of times a week on Blab? Yeah, my first show was Blab About Wine, that is now Wine Antics Live. And I think Blab was the foundation where so many people started out, where so many people connected, and so many of those relationships have continued over the past year. And I know you have a ton of questions about how the community has moved since the island of Blab, since we all have been kicked off the island.
I do want to bring up. I want to bring up one, and we'll need Rachel's video.
Specifically Rachel's this time.
Rachel's video.
I don't get to choose.
I'm just giving you the chance to cue it up and get everything ready, right? I before we move on, we need to say goodbye. And I really appreciate Rachel Moore, former host and founder and the go-getter for Let's Livestream. She did a video today specifically for this show. And if you guys don't pay attention to anything else, this is the video I want you guys to watch and listen. And so roll it out if you can, Jen.
When we first started connecting, we were just in tune with each other. It was like love at first sight. I was able to use Twitter, hop on, hit the go live button, and immediately just share whatever was going on with whoever was watching. And you worked so great in the beginning. I felt like we had a real synergy. It seemed like the hours we could spend, just the two of us, plus the time that we had with friends and neighbors, just seemed to really mean a lot more. And that lasted for, so brief a time, because eventually I noticed that you changed a little bit. I noticed, Blab, that you stopped really caring about, when we were together and if you would work or if you'd let us even talk to other people. You were really keen on not letting me be able to connect with anybody else in a live stream. And it was so inconsistent. What had been so faithful and so constant turned into something I couldn't rely upon. And so I really thought we might have something, but I had my doubts. And then, Blab, you sent the worst Dear John letter ever, but you didn't send it to me. You posted it on Medium. You broke up with me and so many other live streamers in the most flippant way that we really felt like we had lost the anchor to our relationship. But Blab, we've moved on. We're not pining for you. We're not sad or distraught anymore. We think of you wistfully and as a necessary milestone in our lives and journeys as live streamers. But that's it. So, Blab, I wish you farewell. You're in the past, and other platforms and apps are in the future. And FYI to the other live streaming platforms, please don't do what Blab did and send us all a goodbye letter on Medium of all things. Okay? Happy Let's Live Stream Day as we focus on and reminisce about Blab that was and what is to come. That's all.
So I hope you guys at some point in some way can relate, and I loved how she did this video. I just asked her to do something, to do a video. It's like, hey, could you just do this? And this is what she comes up, which is one of the reasons why I really love what Rachel does, because she's absolutely hysterical. But in all seriousness, though, you know, how many of you guys kind of really felt that way? You know, where they just kind of slammed the door and that was it. And that really, and the reason why I wanted to pair that up with question number 2 was because it really actually, it kicked us out in a good way, that we had to actually go out and we had to go and find a place to broadcast. That was something we were forced to do. And some people, unfortunately, they actually just stop broadcasting. They're like, oh, this is too hard, or I don't know how to do this, and I don't know what to do next, and things like this. And you know what? It was a challenge. I'll be honest. It was a challenge. It was a chance for us to really go out and explore, you know, to find out maybe how to rediscover and how to use Periscope a little bit differently, a little bit better. But since then, we've had a lot of other things that have happened to the platforms, right? I mean, Periscope now, you know, you've got the Periscope Pro, YouTube, not YouTube. Well, YouTube has a mobile app and things like this, but a lot of people have discovered how to use OBS and Wirecast and things like this in order to broadcast different shows and things like this. Be Live has now come out as a really as a very easy way for a lot of people to be able to bring in guests and be able to do that talk show format and things like this. You know, so and this kind of really segues right into our question number 3. And question number 3, and I wanted to ask this because I want to give you a chance to put it out, put it in the comments or tweet about it if you're listening and you're, you know, doing this. Tweet about it, because I want you guys to take the time and really share, how has live video changed your life, or maybe but how has video changed your life and your business? Because if live video has not changed it, I don't know how to, I don't know where you've been. If it doesn't affect your life in the way that people are now sharing content, it's becoming the norm. When it first came out, it was, oh, this is really neat. What is this? Why do I want to click on this? Because everybody thought it was just a video. But when they realized that people were talking back to them on the video, that changed everything. And all of a sudden now, live video became one of the best, if not the best way to virtually connect with people. So I want to see, and I want to hear from you guys, what do you think, and how has live video changed for you? What has made that difference? You know, when you're using your live video and things like that. I know we've got a couple of other videos and things like this, and I actually wanted to bring up, can we bring up Ross's Ross Brand, and we'll do our best to get this in, because I really don't know how the rest of the show is going to go. But I wanted to give Ross just a few minutes to be able to share with us. But how many? I'm trying to also catch up with what you guys are doing on Twitter and things like that. So I'm seeing here, I see Kim Kim Gaskell, she writes, she's like, live streaming has connected me with some of the most amazing humans. Thank you for calling us humans. It has also changed the direction of my business. And you can find Kim over at Ecotech, T-E-K, Ecotech on Twitter. I love that. I'm just gonna retweet her. Why not? Let's see here. Question. Let's see here. Catching up over on the Facebook side. Mitch actually answers the question number 2. And question number 2 is, where are you broadcasting now? Mitch says, platforms come and go. Relationships can last a lifetime. We're going to have more live stream options in the next 5 years than the last 20 combined, and it's all good. I love that. I love that. All right. If we're ready, let's listen to something Ross has to say. And here's the reason why. He and a couple of other people, they're doing some really kind of fun things here in the near future. And I remember Ross starting out and getting to know him and to see what he's done then, where he was then, and to see where he is now. But he's got a really great perspective on how live video changes life and business.
Hey gang, Ross Brand here from LivestreamUniverse.com, and I cannot believe that it's been a whole year now since Blab has pulled the plug on us, right? I kind of got off Blab, and I think a lot of other people did before they actually shut it down, but it was still kind of shocking when they did. It had become such a strong community over the time that most of us who were on Blab were on Blab, if that makes sense. And we got to know each other. We became friends. We went on each other's shows and just spent hours in post-show having great conversations. It was a wonderful community that came together on Blab, despite the challenges that the platform had with some tech issues and other things. So on one hand, yeah, it's amazing. It's been an entire year since Blab has been gone. But then when I think about all the different things that people who came from Blab and who've decided to stick with live streaming and content creation on video are doing, people who've started companies, people who are doing new kinds of shows, are collaborating in a different way. And I think, although we miss the community of Blab, and that hasn't been completely recreated, although Facebook groups and other platforms are certainly doing some of that community building, I think for the live streamers, what I've seen is that so many people have gotten better because they've had to bring their own audience, and they've had to create content that had a purpose and that was more focused and more contained and more niche, because you don't have the discovery elsewhere that you had on Blab, where people just came on the platform to watch shows. You've got to capture people's attention. You've got to promote more. And I think the whole thing together has really enabled people to grow and get better as broadcasters, as marketers, as live streamers, as content creators. And I think it's a very exciting time. And I think a lot has happened in the past year that we should be excited and proud as a community for where live stream's going. For me, the only thing I want to talk about is our panel proposal for South by Southwest. 3 wonderful people who I happened to meet on Blab. Well, one I knew before Blab, but Coach Jenny and I reconnected. After a few years, we reconnected on Blab, and it's been amazing. And I got to know Karen Graves and Monique Johnson. The 4 of us have a proposal for a panel at South by Southwest called Facebook Live, Build Your Tribe and Actually Make Money. And we would love you to vote for us. You can go to livestreamuniverse.com.
That was great from Ross. I really appreciate his perspective. And if anybody what was he wasn't called the mayor of live streaming, but I feel like he's really considered somebody that is that glue that has held that the live stream community together, especially after Blab. He was doing all of those great updates and really sharing and keeping the show, like creating that TV guide for all of us to know where we all spread to the four winds.
Right. And that was where a lot of us really, we got to see him regularly doing, just doing those updates. And it was a great way. And then when he started doing that, not just like on Blab, he really kind of transitioned over to Facebook. I mean, we loved it. I mean, it was a great chance for us to be able to say, okay, so what's going on? Because I can't connect with enough people. I don't know where, and we didn't really think about it. And so his perspective, and I think he really mirrors a lot of what Mitch Jackson was saying in the Facebook comment. Like, it's not about the platform, it's about the people. And Ross really reflected that, and I appreciate that about him.
I completely agree. And there's some really great comments that are happening over on Facebook, so I wanted to put them out. Brigetti says that, live streaming itself has given me my life back. Like this whole past year, as you sit here and you reflect on it, she has chronic pain, and it shut her down from the world. Like, I love hearing stories like that, not to take away from Ross's, large contribution, but there are so many people, as we're seeing in Facebook, that talk about what this last year has meant to them, along with Gail Turner Brown, who said live streaming allowed me to cut the cable cord. I made friends I wouldn't have, and learning how to build a business along the way. So thank you guys for sharing that.
That it really is. It's excellent. And I think one of the things that as we're going through, and I know, some of the things that we really had a hard time with was that loss of connection because of what Blab had done. It put us really easily on screen where we could talk and chat online. And so I wanted to ask you guys question number 4, which is, who do you miss from the Blab days? Like, who's maybe somebody that you either that you met and that you've lost connection with, or somebody that you haven't been able to find again? I mean, put it out. Who knows? There's a lot of people that listen. Maybe they could share. Maybe they can connect. So I wanted to put that out there and ask you guys if who is it that you guys miss, and from those Blab days. I was trying to think of, could I actually live tweet this now? I mean, there was a bunch of shows, and I'll be honest with you, like the After Dark Blab, and that was like kind of like after business hours. That was crazy. Like, I had no idea. I had no idea what to do with that. So I kind of watched, and that's how I found Jen. I found her because it was after my normal, like, I would broadcast in the day at 10 o'clock. We'd do on our show or our rundown or whatever the case was. But then I would watch a little bit afterwards. I think of Joe Burke, Lindsay Badger doing PopX Cast. That was really great. There was a bunch of these these shows. So one of the things that I think really made Blab great in a very tangible sense, it was the people that we were able to connect with. Now, Periscope was great but it was from one to many, but Blab put us both on the same screen. And we actually do have a guest today. I know it's kind of shocking, but this guy is somebody that I was able to connect with because of Blab. And since then, we've been able to see, he has a Facebook group. He's written a couple of books. He's done some courses. You might know him, you might not. But when he's ready, I'm sure we'll just bring him on when it's ready. But this is a really good example, our guest today, of somebody that one of the reasons why I think Blab works so well. It put us all in touch with each other, and it didn't discriminate. And maybe that's a bad word to use, but it put us in touch with everybody else. So as we're kind of going through this, guys, I do want to ask that if you haven't already, would you please just quick share this out? This really, more than almost most, this is really one of those shows that it's about bringing you guys in, and you guys sharing what the content in the things, your experiences and things you guys learned and stuff like that. So I'm trying to catch up on some of the Twitter. Kim, again, she says most of the Blab show hosts I followed have come back stronger on Facebook Live or have gone back to Periscope, because that's where I started. I started on Periscope before I did anything else. Like, I was doing Periscope. And that was, somebody introduced me to this, and they said, hey, you should be over on there. And that was where I started meeting Ross and Coach Jenny and Mitch, and there's a couple other people, and one of them is actually this guy right here. I don't know. Yes, we queued it up just right up. This guy, right? Twinsies. That's right. Joel, how you doing?
Ivan.
It's good to see you, Brian.
You too, man. Glad I could make it.
Thanks for stopping in. I know you got a busy schedule, and you were literally coming from one place to another, and we were able to make this happen.
Yeah.
And as I was I know you were kind of coming in the room, but I really do mean this very sincerely, because sometimes one of the things that I really liked about Blab was it put a lot of people that were previously like almost untouchable, out of reach. You just couldn't connect with them very easily. Yeah, that's the thing. And it made it so that I could watch you very easily. I could find, oh, this is what he's up to. Oh, he's writing a book, or he's at a show, or whatever the case was. And that was one of the ways that I was able to connect with you. So thank you for actually kind of pioneering and promoting the platform that really helped a lot of us connect.
Well, I love Blab. I did. It was great. It's kind of, I don't know if you know this, but I got started with Blab on August 12th, 2015.
Get out. Okay.
So a year to the day.
Wow.
That's when they pulled the plug on us. And to this day, we still do not have a Blab placement, a Blab replacement, a Blab placement.
No.
The closest thing that I found to it is Crowdcast. But yes, you got to register. You can't just jump in. There's no discovery. There just isn't. And I don't know why. There's not something. I know, was it, what's the one that one of our group tried to make something that I think
Wikiki.
Yeah, isn't it? I've tried it a couple times. It was always buggy and didn't.
It is, and that's just. I mean, Blab was notoriously buggy for things because they were always putting new stuff in. But I know there's like stability issues. But I mean, like you take how big Blab was and all the people that were connected, and I mean they're starting out again. And I just don't. Maybe my heart's not in it. Maybe I don't want to get burned again. You know, I mean that's how a lot of people felt.
Yeah, but I don't think that's it for me. I think it's that it's not the same. Look, this is not rocket science. Just do Blab, like do what it did, and nobody's doing what it did, and that's it. If we had something that did what it did, I'd be all over it. Right,
and as we kind of move forward, though, we're still looking for those things. The way that it connects us with people, and that was really kind of one of the premise of the show. This is not like, Joel, how bad was Blab, or like what do we hate about Blab? Because we've already had those conversations so many times. Instead, it was, hey, who are some of the people that we connected with, and what were some of the events? And so, because it's also a Twitter chat, our question that we actually have up, and it's what was your best memory from Blab, though? If you could pick like one thing that you were like, you know what, I really remember this, and this was awesome. But I mean, do you have one of those?
I have a bunch of them. There's not like one memory of Blab. I think, it was bringing other influencers to the platform and seeing them go, wow, this is, pretty cool. Whether it was Scoble or Michael Hyatt, or Kevin Harrington, whoever, we had coming on, that was, Jay Baer, Chris Brogan, all these guys. I brought Michael Stelzner to Blab. That was rewarding. And then just, when we first discovered it, right, and we're goofing off and we're doing karaoke and where people are coming in and out, we're just getting to know this tribe of people, the silliness of it. Blab Talk Live with Vincenzo, and so many friends that I know now, Chocolate Johnny, Yana Francis, right? And the list goes on of the people that we met because of Blab, how it just really brought together a community of people, and I miss it. I do.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing that it did, because it actually connected us very easily to other people. And I do remember, like, I watched, I watched a lot of those shows. You and Vincenzo, I watched you guys almost every chance I could, because I never really knew what was going to happen. Like, there was topics and things, but you never knew really like what was, because it was live.
Yeah.
All the time live. And I mean, like, really live sometimes.
Yeah, it was spontaneous. And we had our little, Blab Talk Live theme. I wonder if let's see, if I'm going over my soundboard, this might work. Let me see if I can find it.
All right.
Blab, there's the folder. And
we all have those folders.
Oh, I know. Wait.
He's got it. I know it. He's got it.
This is the device that I would plug into my soundboard that I use. So depending upon whether or not my microphone is running through my soundboard, you'll tell me if you can hear this or not. It might just be going straight in, is why I'm wondering. But if it's not, this will be funny. Oh, it's still on here. Can you hear this sound effect?
Yep.
Okay, here we go. I won't be able to. Oh, wait. Here's how I used to be able to hear it. I still have the extra set of earbuds by my.
This really is how we used to do it in Blab.
It is.
It was connect everything through this. And while you're doing that, our next question that we actually have live in the Twitter chat, it is question number 6. Have you met anyone in real life from Blab? I'd really love to hear and see you guys and catch up on your comments. Have you guys met anybody? And I know some of you guys have done conferences and things like this, but Melissa Reyes, who I do have her video. I think we're gonna play her video at the end or close to the end. If not, I will make sure I get it out.
Can you still hear my mic?
I can still hear your mic.
Okay, so here we go.
I loved what Melissa did, because she met somebody on Blab, and she's in California, and she met Cindy Harrison, who is in New Hampshire. And they both love art, and they ended up having a really great friendship. They've gone on vacations together and their families and shared. They have put literally all of these things together because of Blab. And this to me was that testimony of this. Now, do you have this? Do you have it all?
Blab, 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 blab. Blab, 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 blab.
Wow.
Blab, 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 blab. Blab, 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 blab. Blab Talk Live, Blab Talk Live, Blab Talk Live, Blab Talk Live, Blab, 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 Blab Talk Live.
And he put it right here. That's what I never can tell. I don't know what's going on tonight. We're having it. Here's the
Blab
host.
Talk Live, Blab Talk Live, Blab Talk Live, Blab Talk Live, Blab, 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 Blab Talk Live.
That was fantastic. That was fantastic. That was how it was. Like, that was, and I remember you guys you'd push the button, you'd all let it just roll, and that was how you guys started the show.
Yeah, it was super fun. Super fun.
That was high tech then.
I know.
Right?
Now what do we got?
I'm sorry. What was that?
I say, now what do we got?
Oh, yeah. Now what do we have? I know, right? Now we're producing stuff and all this kind of stuff.
And you know me, I'm a huge Be Live fan. I love Be Live. And it's, for building community. The only discoverability comes in telling people, hey, come here and come into the lobby. But it's not designed for what Blab was designed for.
Mm-hmm. Hey, real quick, because I know you just switched devices. I don't know if did you turn your mic down?
No.
Because now you're really quiet. At least it is on my end.
Check, chickadee,
There
check.
you go.
Check.
Awesome.
Good. Okay.
Cool. So
I'll get all of it.
I know you do a lot of conferences, but who from Blab, somebody maybe that you met on Blab that maybe you hadn't seen before, do you have that kind of experience where you met them on Blab, but then you actually met them in real life?
Yeah, I mean, Chocolate Johnny is the first one that comes to mind, from the other side of the world, and met Johnny face to face at Social Media Marketing World in San Diego, but he was here in Denver for Social Media Day.
Right.
Flew around the
cool
world
is that?
to be here, and that's awesome. Mitch Jackson, Is another one. J.S. Gilbert, Jenny Q. I'm sorry for whoever I'm leaving out because there's so many of you, but tons of people that I've met in person that I met from Blab. And a lot of it happened at the Blab Up. We had that meetup in San Francisco at the top of the Marriott Marquis, and so many people turned out for that evening. It was just a blast. We had Rob Sesternino, was there. The guys from the reality show. It is just super fun. So many people turned up. That's where I met Dana Garrison, Kitty, Periscope. And I'm sure if I looked at pictures, there would just be a whole bunch of them.
Right. And I like to see how not only have people they've met people, but they've continued on. Because it's one thing. You go to a few conferences in the year, and I know I'm kind of being funny about that, but you go to conferences and you shake a lot of people's hands, and sometimes it's kind of like, I'm sure I met you. I seriously, I just don't remember. I don't have that bandwidth in my brain to remember everybody's face. I can't do it. I might remember that I met you, don't know where.
There's some people that I've met 5 times for the first time, and they joke and they say my name is Dory. They do.
That's okay. I still call my kids the wrong names, but maybe that's a totally different problem.
Hey, you.
That's right. It's
drop it.
Oh, I'm so glad to see you again.
Yeah. For the 20th time.
However many, right? But we've all had those things, and I know that social media in general has done that. Snapchat kind of bridges the gap. In terms of it's really quick content that you can put out there. And now obviously, stories and Instagram and Facebook and all that kind of stuff. But, Blab did that one extra thing that we were able to really connect over because, you could find people, you'd see their broadcasts and things like this. And we were working behind the scenes today to try and get on Chris Cubby. And for me, that was actually one of the first times where I was like, hey, Blab's really legit, because I remember asking you and Chris to come on and talk about Snapchat, because it had really just started to be they really started to get some real traction. Right. And
which I'm just about done with, by the way.
And believe it or not, so is Chris.
So are most people. Here's what I've determined. They're idiots. Smart idiots, but they failed. Why would you not take $2 billion from Facebook? Hello, $2 billion. Go build something else. That is just remarkable to me. And yeah, they've got their billions now. They raised a lot of money, but they're becoming less and less relevant. And yes, they've got their 160 million users and no growth.
Right.
And Instagram stories and Facebook stories and WhatsApp status are kicking their butts. And I don't know how you recover from this. I don't think it's with hardware.
So here's the question. Is it going to go the way of Blab in that tech wise, it'll just kind of maybe fizzle, or maybe they're just going to slam the door? But on the people side, do you think that it's still a great place, an easy place to connect with people, or to be able to share content and people just
people you know, but the ridiculous games that are played on it, I've had to shut down. Everybody's snapping me back now. I've basically had to close off all the people I'm not friends with, because complete strangers send me pictures of their kids or their goats or their cheesecake, or even worse, blank snaps or snaps that say streaks, the most inane thing that you could possibly do on Snapchat. They think that the numbers and the streaks of going back and forth with complete strangers means something, and it's killed it for me. I get irritated, and I'm like, I'll snap a few friends. So as a communication tool for a few select people to play with the filters and go, oh, look, I'm a bee today. You know, it's fine. But you'll remember, a year ago, I was Snap crazy, and I was creating original content. And honestly, I don't really use any of the story apps that much anymore, just because I'm busy doing other things. And it takes, I realized, okay, I'm never going to become a Snapchat star. I'm also not going to become an Instagram story star or a Facebook story star. I will create content as it comes to me organically. and my monetization will be through other means.
Right.
And I'm fine with that.
Right. And that actually kind of goes right into our next question. Question number 7. It's, what's been your biggest challenge in broadcasting since Blab closed? And I think that's something that a lot of people like initially, they had a really hard time. It was when it closed down, they literally had no idea. I mean, they stopped broadcasting, they stopped making content. They were trying to follow other people and trying to figure out, I know for a little bit, and I don't know if you still are, but I know every once in a while I'll see an email where you do, Joel, where you do like a use Crowdcast to kind of like do a Blab.
Well, I was actually thinking of doing one. I don't think I can do it. Originally, I've been thinking for months. It's on my calendar to do one on the 12th, which is the day they close. But the 12th falls on Saturday night, and I'm actually traveling back from a conference. So I'm thinking about Sunday doing a Blab family reunion, and we'll do it on Crowdcast. But to answer your question, I haven't put that together yet, but I'll let you know if I do. But you'll see it. Just watch for my page. Yeah. I didn't have any challenges like after Blab. I just didn't do, that type of show anymore. But I've been on Periscope. I've been using Facebook Live for a long time. And when I found Be Live, I found my home for shows. I mean, it is hands down the best. Just Add Water makes its own sauce for going live to Facebook and having guests and having comments, in lower thirds, and now branding with your logo and custom frames. So I'm a big fan, and I'm officially a brand ambassador because I'm a fan.
I think, when we were, because one of the big pushes after Blab was to, we'll just talk about it on Facebook, because a lot of people were connected either through Facebook or through Twitter, and that's the majority of it. And I'm glad you brought up Be Live, because I really think that for the ease that Blab provided, to me, I think Be Live is that thing. That is, I don't know of another thing that's easier outside of obviously like the native app, but to do that, to get some, people on the shows, to be able to share, maybe do some screen sharing, put some lower thirds on there. It's easy. They've done it. And I know you, like you said, you're a brand ambassador for it, but you produce pretty regular content now because of Be Live.
Yeah, it's so easy. It's a great platform. It's very reasonably priced to, have the professional edition. I think it's $20 a month. And it's a no-brainer. It's the only platform, so you can use Zoom, you can use OBS to, produce stuff. And there's all kinds of cool things you can do with Wirecast. And even Blue Jeans pushes to Facebook Live. Crowdcast pushes a Facebook Live, but Be Live is made for Facebook Live with the features in mind of making it fully social and integrated with the Facebook experience. And it does what Facebook can't do. So naturally, with their focus being on that, it's not an afterthought. It's not, and you can also do this to Facebook. It's made for Facebook.
So, one of the things that we had always talked about towards the end, when we kind of felt that Blab was
the end,
fizzling, as it were, we was talking about, like, how do we connect? What is the way that we do it? And I think you hit the nail right on the head when you were talking about this, saying, look, this is a Be Live particularly became that platform to be able to broadcast easily. They cut a lot of the software middleman out. And I don't mean that, it's just, they took a lot of the extra steps out.
Right.
To make it easier to broadcast. But now that we're kind of out of that, I wanted to ask you, now, who do you watch and who do you listen to? Because it's a really busy world out there, at least within the podcast and just the video world. Like, who are the people that you're like, what, I really like what they're doing, or I remember them on Blab, or, so who are those people for you?
So I'm going to be candid with you. I don't consume much content. I don't watch. I'm busy creating. I'm a creator. I am putting out as much content as I feel moved to via Periscope, Facebook Live, using Be Live, using Switcher Studio, using my blog, using other people's blogs, using story apps and Twitter. I'm podcasts. I'm busy creating. And so I'm not much of a consumer. The stuff that I listen to when I do consume podcasts, but they're not anything in our realm. They're very little that have to do with business. The podcasts that I listen to have to do with other topics that I'm interested in. And so I'm probably, not a great candidate. If we're talking about the Blab community, I mean, every now and then I'll swipe through Facebook. Oh, Johnny's live, and I'll tap in for a moment. Hey, Johnny. Hey, Joel. And then I'm on to something else. But I don't sit still very well.
Well, I think a lot of people are feeling that way, maybe for different reasons. But I know a lot of people really they're looking at what was produced, the sheer volume. And because it used to be, I mean, show after show after show and all the time. And you were like, oh, hey, would you just tweet me and let me know when your show goes live? So maybe I can go back and watch it, but you hit a threshold. You can't, I can only watch so much, whether it's TV, I mean, we'll call it TV. I can only listen to so many podcasts in a day, and to be honest, I think there's a lot of times where I'm just like, I'm not listening to another business podcast.
Yeah, well, and I have my time too. When I listen to podcasts when I go for a walk, that's just about, or if I come back from my walk and I'm going to get in the shower, I grab my little Anchor speaker and put it in the bathroom and keep listening while I'm, getting cleaned up. But other than that, I'm here at my desktop and I'm creating, or I'm, shooting something within a video game. I'm, and I'm not listening to a podcast while I'm doing that. It's just, I can't do both. And so, but I understand there's a lot of people that like to consume a lot of content, and that's why I, create what I do. And honestly, I don't expect a lot of our peers to listen to, my stuff. Although many of them do show up, it's a different audience. It's the people that are wanting to learn and wanting to consume. They're not creating necessarily, but they want to hear what it is I or my guests have to say.
Right. And I know that you do different podcasts now, and you've kind of talked about a couple of them because I've been watching. I'm able to catch you on Facebook. You just did an interview with Mark Schaefer that I thought was fantastic. I really enjoyed it.
He's the best.
He really is, and it's just you. That's what I mean. Like for you know how to connect with these guys and ask them the question just to kind of get them just to kind of go here. And I like that. I mean, not everybody can do that, especially with somebody like Mark. I mean, not that Mark's, but you have to ask the right questions to get him to be able to just tell you a little bit more,
Well, and I don't plan questions ahead of time ever, partially because I'm lazy, but partially because I know the value of just having a conversation with people. And when they send me questions, if I'm going to be interviewed, I reply, I'll be on your show. I didn't look at the questions. I prefer an organic conversation. Sometimes they'll come back and they'll go, yeah, but we really want to talk. And I'm like, great, just ask me. And if I don't know the answer, I'll give you my favorite answer of all, which is I don't know.
Right. And if you don't, you don't. I mean, and it is having a real conversation with people. And I think that's what makes, to me, that's what makes live video great. I mean, I knew you were going to, we knew Jen, she's in the background, she's producing. We knew you were going to come on. We didn't know exactly what time. I mean, we produced a couple of shows, and you kind of a little bit know the routine. You've been doing live video for a little bit, but it's not like, hey, Joel, here are the 5 or 7 or 8 questions. Please make sure you have them all queued up. And it was more like, hey, Joel, just come right on in. We'll just talk.
Right.
And
ask me anything.
That's it.
And the more surprising the question is, the better. I'm always, I love it when somebody asks me something that nobody's asked me before. And I'll celebrate that. And I'll say, you know what? Nobody's ever asked me that before. You get a trophy.
And then you send them a chicken.
Yeah, I don't have one for you yet though. So, cause you haven't asked me any questions. I haven't been asked.
Now these are the Twitter chat questions for everybody.
Excellent.
I'll tweet you a good question. How about that?
Then I have to look at Twitter.
I know, right? Well, I'll tag something in it. You'll know it when you see it.
I'll know. Okay.
You'll know it.
I love it.
Joel, I know you've got a Facebook group you guys are running. You have a book that you are writing currently. Would you just tell us a little bit about that as we close out the show today?
Actually, so the Facebook group is the Live Video Marketing Mastermind, and just look up Live Video Marketing Mastermind, and you can join that. We've got about 8,200 people in there now, and we share live video stories. I do have a book coming out next year, but I've been quietly working on a book in the live video space, and it's kind of like a starter primer. It's called Live Video Revolution. And I saw it listed on Amazon right now for pre-order. I should have my books later this week. I'm really excited. They came off the presses, and it's like 100-page book that's a great introduction to live video. And I realized that you can't do a book about live video and talk too much about the technology. And so the book kind of says, look, if you want to know the latest in the apps, go to the Live Video Academy, which is a site I'll be launching soon that will help keep people current with what's happening in the space.
Awesome. I like that approach. That's a really good segue to get you from a very traditional and a more permanent book print,
right,
to something that is literally changing week to week.
Right.
I really appreciate it. That's a really great way to segue between those two technologies. So Joel, man, thank you so much for joining us today. I know your time's you are literally flying from here to there at times. So I really appreciate you stopping in.
My pleasure. Anytime, brother.
All right. Well, guys, thank you. This was another episode. We do have a couple of other videos, and I don't want to be rude to them, but I think we're literally out of time. But I will make sure that I put all of the I get these videos out, even if I have to do a second shift. But I will let you know, I've got Coach Jenny, Ryan Perez, Melissa Reyes, and Terry Johnson. I know we have these out there as that they've submitted their videos. And I mean, seriously, like, guys, I love catching these videos. So I think that's what I'll do. What I'll do is I'm going to put these together as a montage, and we're going to put these out so you guys catch and can see what everybody else is doing, what they're getting for, and I will do a second. I have to do a second video because otherwise, it just we lose. But I do want to make sure that we are able to see and catch what everybody's doing within the live space, because it's no longer Blab, it's live streaming. And with that, guys, I really do want to say thank you everybody for joining us. We have next week we have a new show. I know, like every week, right? Next week we do have a guest. The guest is going to be Chris Strub. Many of you guys know him. I am going to be finishing and reading his book. And that will be, and I'm actually gonna make some content and share some stories about as I've done this and reading it this week. But we're gonna be getting ready, so make sure you guys join us next week. If you ever want to just if you want to get notified of it, you can go over to letslivestream.com. Just sign up for the email list, and we'll send you an email and let you know. Plus a recap of this, and with all of the videos that we just simply literally just didn't have time for in the day. And but guys, thank you guys so much for being a part of the show. Keep tweeting. I'm going to be catching up with everybody else's tweets and comments on Facebook. Guys, thank you so much. Have a great week. We'll see you next time.